Imagine standing on the roof of a 200-story building. Beneath your feet, there is no floor, only the howling wind and a bottomless abyss. When you leap, it takes a full 11 seconds before you hear the sound of your body hitting the water. This isn't an advertisement for extreme sports. It's the real experience of dropping a stone from the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge. On September 28, 2025, this super project spanning the fissure of the Earth officially opened to traffic, forever engraving the record for the world's highest bridge onto the map of Guizhou, China, with its vertical height of 625 meters. But if you think this is just another display of China's infrastructure craze, you would be mistaken. This steel rainbow stretching across the Huajiang Grand Canyon holds the secret of how a province, besieged by mountains for millennia, broke the chains of its own destiny. To understand the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge, you must first understand the land beneath it, Guizhou. Open a topographical map of China, and the color of this southwestern heartland is suffocatingly deep. Here, 92.5% of the land is mountainous and hilly, with 1.258 million peaks scattered like stones from a god's hand, shattering the Earth's surface. This is the only province in China without the support of plains. Tectonic movements 200 million years ago turned an ocean into gorges, but in doing so, created a natural fortress that hemmed in generations of inhabitants. Local villagers once thought that life was an endless struggle with winding mountain roads. Two villages, a mere kilometer apart as the crow flies, required a half-day's journey over mountains. The region's high-quality walnuts and honey would rot on the branches, their value nullified by exorbitant transportation costs. Young people who wanted to venture out into the world had to spend the better part of a day just to get out of the mountains. The Huajiang Grand Canyon was the most formidable of these natural barriers, a chasm only 1,400 meters wide, yet an insurmountable obstacle to development. In 2022, when the blueprint for the Lian Expressway reached this point, engineers faced an unprecedented choice: follow the mountain's contours by building tunnels and lower bridges, forcing the highway to wind its way laboriously through the canyon, or face the challenge head-on and erect a thoroughfare in the clouds. The answer was to cross the fissure of the Earth, and the only option was to go up, to build a super bridge that would be #1 in the world, both vertically and horizontally. The world's highest at 625 meters, and with a span of 1,420 meters, the world's longest for a bridge in a mountainous region. The construction of this bridge was a dialogue with nature, executed with precision. The bridge towers are its pillars of heaven. To firmly root the two colossal towers, standing at 262 and 254 meters respectively, on the mountain peaks, engineers drilled 24 giant foundation piles into the ground, the deepest reaching 68 meters. This is equivalent to burying an entire 20-story residential building into the mountain, just to give the towers an unshakable base. The tower building machine that followed was like something out of science fiction. Resembling a climbing, intelligent mold, it broke the tower's structure into more than 40 sections, printing them with precision at a rate of 0.8 meters per day. In just a few months, the spires pierced the clouds. If the towers are the arms, the anchorages are the bridge's unshakable foundation. On the wider end of the canyon, a 400,000-ton concrete anchorage sits quietly on the mountainside. Its weight alone is enough to counteract the pull from half the bridge, equivalent to holding 4 aircraft carriers at once. On the narrower end, engineers devised a more ingenious solution, using the mountain as an anchor. They excavated 2 massive tunnels deep into the mountainside, embedding the main cable's anchor structure directly into the rock core, making the entire mountain a part of the bridge. The most dramatic moment came on the day the first pilot rope was installed. Fierce winds howled through the 1,400-meter-wide canyon, making traditional methods like rockets or airships too inaccurate. In the end, a standard drone, carrying a slender pilot rope, buzzed across the canyon like a courageous messenger. This seemingly fragile cord initiated a spectacular relay. It pulled a thicker rope, which then pulled a steel cable. After several Matryoshka doll-style upgrades, the catwalks for the workers were finally in place. At an altitude of over 600 meters, the meter-wide catwalk swayed in the wind, with a sheer drop below. Yet, it was here that workers had to perform the most precise tasks. A total of 217 cable strands had to be laid in sequence, each composed of 91 high-strength steel wires rated at 2,000 megapascals, strong enough to lift 50 elephants. The final assembly of the bridge deck was like threading a needle at high altitude. The 50,000-ton steel girder deck was divided into 93 segments, each weighing over 200 tons. Gusts in the canyon can reach speeds of 30 meters per second, and joining the segments with precision in such conditions was as difficult as assembling a delicate instrument in a hurricane. Engineers used LiDAR technology to monitor wind speed and direction in real time, finally completing the closure during an optimal window. In truth, there were not too many difficulties or challenges, was the calm response of Chief Engineer Liu Hao. It's worth noting that of the 17 bridges in the world with a height of over 400 meters, all are in China. During the 2025 National Day Golden Week, the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge delivered its first report card. In 7 days, it received over 200,000 tourists and saw a traffic flow of nearly 40,000 vehicles. Local guest houses were fully booked, and dedicated bridge-watching tour even emerged. But the bridge's value extends far beyond being a viral photo spot. For local villagers, the change from a 2-hour journey to a 2-minute one means that walnuts from the mountains can be on the shelves of the provincial capitals, supermarkets the very same day. Even more astoundingly, the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge was designed from the outset to be more than just a piece of transport infrastructure. The Cloud Ferry service area, next to the bridge, is a model of cultural and tourism integration. You can take a glass elevator to an observation hall inside the bridge structure and gaze out at the sea of clouds in the canyon from 600 meters up. The daring can challenge themselves with a bungee jump, letting their adrenaline soar with the canyon's air currents. You can even sit for a while in the cafe in the clouds, or send a postcard with a special postmark from the High Bridge Post Office. The local Civil Affairs Bureau has also set up a marriage registration point here, and several couples have already received their world-class marriage certificates. Across Guizhou, such miracles are constantly unfolding. The province's more than 30,000 bridges act like giant sutures, weaving the fragmented land into a network. Laid end to end, these bridges would stretch for over 5,400 kilometers, almost the entire north-south length of China. Let us return to the original question. Why did we spend a fortune to build a bridge 600 meters in the sky? Humans cannot move mountains, but they can build roads in the clouds. The 625-meter height of the Huajiang Grand Canyon Bridge measures not just the distance from the deck to the water, but the leap of a nation from being imprisoned by topography to holding a dialogue with heaven and earth. This steel monument, standing on a fissure of the earth, tells a simple yet profound truth. True miracles are always born from the yearning for and persistent pursuit of a better life.